Hi, everyone. It's Brian here. If you are looking for this week's episode of Forensic Fails, I'm sorry to tell you that we are not releasing a regular episode this week, but we have a very good reason. Kristin and I have been very, very busy recording a bonus episode for our Patreon on the very popular Netflix documentary that everybody is talking about, The Crash. We have assembled some of our favorite clips from that episode following this little intro. It is available now to members of our Patreon at all levels. If you are not a member of our Patreon and you like what you're hearing, why don't you head on over and join our Patreon for as low as $5 a month. If you don't want to join our Patreon on a monthly basis, we are also providing the option on our Patreon of just purchasing this single episode. And you can purchase it for just $4. And it is a whopping 2 hours worth of content. It is a long episode, but we really go into detail covering it. And we really think that you will enjoy it. And we do want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreons. We honestly could not do this without you. Your support means so, so much to us, and we are so appreciative. And we are also extremely appreciative of our member who is at our highest level tier, that is our Peter Thomas level. And for $15 a month at our Peter Thomas level, you get shouted out on our show and in our show notes. So a huge thank you to our Peter Thomas level patron, Little Sister. Once again, we hope that you enjoy these clips from our bonus episode. And if you do enjoy, head on over to Patreon to either join or to purchase this single episode. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy.
We are covering the Netflix documentary, The Crash. So
yes, we are.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the episode because if you haven't seen it, it is quite the documentary. I don't know what I expected when I started watching it, but wow, is all I can say.
Yeah, buckle up.
All right. So our movie begins inside of a car with a voice letting us know that something is recording. You're recording. So it's either dash cam footage or a body cam, both of which are being used in this instant. And the car is driving down a road approaching a crash site. We find out that the driver of the car is a girl. She is breathing. She's unconscious. And the police do not think that the other two people in the car have survived.
Mm-hmm.
So then we start meeting our little players in this documentary. The first one is Rosie. Rosie was 18. Ugh. Yeah, exactly. She had just graduated high school. She shows us a picture of a group of kids all posed like it's some kind of weird magazine shoot. And she tells us that this was the group that she had hung out with. Her, Mackenzie, Davion, Dom, Rosie's boyfriend, Bubba. I'm hoping Bubba is a nickname, but who knows anymore?
Yeah, I don't know if Bubba is his real name, but Bubba looks like a Bubba.
Totally.
If you haven't seen this documentary yet, just picture what a Bubba looks like. Mm-hmm. Capture that photograph in your mind, and now watch the documentary. I guarantee you it'll match. Oh, yeah. At this point, we also know this doesn't take place in New Jersey for sure because we do not have guys named Bubba in New Jersey.
No.
Joey's and Antonies for days, but
yeah.
no Bubbas.
Anyway, we go back to the crash video. And honestly, like I said before, I've never seen anything like this. One of the police officers says one of the victims was a football player. And this footage is so hard to watch. And you hear the conversations from the police officer saying it's the worst crash they've ever seen. And that there's drugs in the car and that the life flight copter is 5 minutes out. And we were also overhear that the female in the crash is rambling and completely incoherent. And then we proceed to present day interviews with her parents. They're like sitting at a table. Steve and whoever. I don't even like her enough to learn her name. The father tells us that Dominic and their 17-year-old daughter were living together and planning on getting married. And I have so many thoughts on that. So many thoughts.
If they ever make a movie out of this, the father has to be played by Chris Elliott. I honestly, the whole time, I could not get him out of my head. And I also don't understand what people are thinking when they decide on what to wear for these documentaries. Okay, so not in the waiting room, but later on when they do the interviews, okay, the dad's choice of wardrobe was an open flannel shirt over a t-shirt that says boom in sort of like the cartoony sort of way like you'd see in Batman, right?
Like onomatopoeia. That's how I envision onomatopoeia when I teach it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why in all these documentaries people just show up without A, running a comb through their hair, or B, putting on nicer clothes. And furthermore, a boom shirt.
Yeah.
Your daughter's car literally went boom into a building, and this is the shirt you wear. Sir.
Right. So now we meet the father and sister of one of the other victims, Dominic.
Yeah, and just to say, Dom's sister, Christine, is fuck around and find out personified.
Totally.
She is, right? I loved her. Although she's my second favorite sister of this episode.
Yes. When I first watched it, my initial thought was, wow. Right. But as the documentary continues, I'm like, I like her, but I'm so scared of her at the same time. Like, there is no way I would grab the last loaf of bread if she was reaching for it in the grocery store. I'd be like, all yours, lady.
We see a bunch of photos from the crime scene, including a button that says, "Don't do stupid shit," signed Mom. And all I could think of was, well, that didn't take.
Oh, this is where Steve lets us all know how they felt Mackenzie, their daughter, was mature enough to move in with her 20-year-old boyfriend after graduation. There has been nothing I have seen so far via the footage of Mackenzie that we have been shown that has made me think that this girl is mature enough to do anything outside of tying her own shoe.
Even that. And then Rosie says this, and this infuriated me. There were so many people there, and so many people were asking so many questions to all of us because they were like, you were with them. What did they take? You know they were on something. They didn't even give us a second to process what had just happened. Too fucking bad, Rosie. 2 young lives were lost. One was critically injured. Drugs were found in the car and on their persons. Of course, they're going to ask questions. Sorry if it's not enough time for you to process, dearie.
Anyway, Rosie lets us know that night there were no arguments, there was no tension, there were no bad vibes or anything like that. Everybody got along. And Dominic, Davion, and Mackenzie leave the house around 5 a.m. However, the police let him know that there is actual video footage. He estimates that her car is going 97.8 miles an hour. We're back to Davion's father. He lets us know that he was on Instagram and he saw a post made to Mackenzie from this brand. He doesn't say which one. 2 days after the crash, right? They commented on one of her photos about her look and could they use the photo? And her mother jumps on and replies, and she's all, oh my God, we're so excited for this opportunity. By the way, the crash that Mackenzie was in was a complete accident and she didn't mean to kill anyone, and it's so painful for her, maybe even more painful. And I'm like, what? What? Vine says she got a message from Mackenzie on Instagram saying how Davion was like a brother to her and she's so sorry, yada, yada, yada. Divine tells us, I didn't feel like I needed to respond to somebody who killed my brother. I love her. If you
Good
got the
girl.
feeling before that Divine didn't care much for Mackenzie, you weren't wrong.
I mean, seeing these videos of how she's talking, reports of how she treats fellow students, teachers, calling her teacher, and this was in the email, calling her teacher a fucking bitch.
Yep.
I mean, and then that last day of school that you were referring to, I had to write this down. So the father says, they suspended her for the last day of school. I had to get off work and come get her. I walked in. I looked at my daughter, and she's sobbing. I go, did you do it? She looks at me and goes, no. And I know when my daughter lies. I go, good enough for me. Let's go. And I walked her out. You, sir, and you, ma'am, mom and dad of the year, have enabled your daughter.
So on November 4th, 2022, on her way back from physical therapy, Mackenzie and her mom are pulled over and she is arrested. On-screen text lets us know that Mackenzie is going to be tried as an adult, which is appropriate because, her parents think she's so mature and everything. And then we see Mackenzie today. She enters the scene in prison clothes. She sits down and she stares at us like she has somewhere else to be and she's granting us a favor just by being here.
I honestly was not expecting to see a jailhouse interview with Mackenzie.
No, neither was I.
Also, what is this hairdo going on? Like, it's a lot. First of all, is that a bump it back there? Like that thing on is it a tumor? Like, what is happening at the back of her head?
Maybe it's like the prison bump it. So instead of an actual bump it, it's like a toilet paper roll. So the interviewer asks her what she thinks happened, and her being Mackenzie. Mackenzie says that through all the evidence, the most logical explanation is that she had a medical emergency. Mackenzie allegedly has POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
And, the funny thing is the first time I heard, and I don't know if it was the mother or Mackenzie who first introduced us to POTS, but, when I heard them say like, well, Kenzie has POTS, I was like not fully paying attention. I'm like, well, I know she has pot. She has a lot of pot.
Yeah.
But seriously, if POTS is such a reasonable defense, why was there no medical expert testifying?
Right.
That makes zero sense.
The sentencing, Mackenzie stands and she offers an apology to the families involved. Davion's sister said it is the worst apology she's ever heard in her life. And then Natalie gets up to speak. And she tells the judge how much Mackenzie has gone through since the accident. And the judge basically mentions, she's like, I'm hearing a lot about Mackenzie and nothing about Dom or Davion.
Yeah, the judge, like Divine, also not here for the Shirla family shit.
Yes.
And this next bit that came out of her mouth sounds like a complete crock of shit. Like she's reading off a talking points sheet from her lawyer. But since her brain is held together with bong residue and she was too busy cussing out teachers in high school, she doesn't know how to form a coherent sentence. The lawyer probably said to her, okay, make sure you really get across the fact that there was no intent and be remorseful. So she comes out with this gem. And I quote, I just want to make sure that I'm big on the no intent. There was no intent whatsoever there. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because the sentence is so bad. I have excessive amounts of remorse for Dominic, Davion, both of their families. This was not intentional, and I will do everything I can to prove that to the world and the families. How many times did you say intent? Okay.
Too many.
Right? and then excessive amounts of remorse. Like how does one have excessive amounts of remorse? Like that makes it sound like you cannot be remorseful enough.
Right.
Like that's not. It's not possible to have. It's not impossible to have excessive amounts of remorse.
And the movie ends with a montage of Davion and Dominic. And it focuses on them with a song playing, and it's like all video clips of them. And I absolutely love that that's how they ended the movie, on the victims.
Yeah, I thought that was really a very sweet way of ending it as well.